So I've been going through the comments on part 1 and part 2 of this series, and there's actually a lot of really good advice that I'm really grateful for. So thank you very much, everybody, for just all of the comments, all of the feedback, all of the support on the series so far. Today, what I want to do is sit down and take some of that on board and see if we can't make the airport a little bit more efficient. And I want to start specifically with some employee scheduling, which is something that I saw on the last episode, in the comments of the last episode. I can't remember who mentioned it. I think it might have been a couple of people mentioned that some employee scheduling might be kind of useful. So what I need to do is go into the staff panel, go to the staff schedules overlay, and suddenly everything's a little bit confusing. Or it was before I went and Googled how exactly this works. And I say that because, as I believe I mentioned at the start of the series, I haven't played all of the tutorials, and at this point, I'm probably going to be quite stubborn and try to not do that just because I'm me. So this took a second to figure out, but when I did, I was like, oh man, my, mind blown when I figured out how this, it wasn't that exciting. It was more of a, oh, that's kind of cool. It wasn't so much, it was just like, oh, that's neat. That would be more accurate. Anyway, what I want to do is I want to schedule my employees so that they're just not here when the airport isn't working. So we're going to start with staff, and staff, of course, operate the ticketing desks as well as the gate agent desks as well. So what we want to do is create a new section of the schedule. We're going to call it night. And we're going to drag the night section into about here for about, give or take, 3 hours. From midnight until 3 a.m., we are going to have it be the night schedule. And the reason we're doing 3 a.m. is because that's roughly when passengers start arriving. So this isn't going to be some huge change to the airport. This isn't going to make me an absolute ton of money, but it is going to save me just a little bit. So we have the night schedule blocked in right there for those 3 hours. All I need to do is right click on each of the desks, and now it's 0, which means no one's going to work there between the hours of midnight and 3 a.m. So we'll go ahead and just close off all of these as well. And then what we can do is switch this out here for security. And if I, set night and go from midnight until about 2:30, and there's a reason I'm going for 2:30 that I'll explain in just a second. We want to go ahead and just right click on all of these. And that's going to mean that from midnight until 2:30, there is no one working any of the security checkpoint stuff either. And there's going to be no one working the visitor reception as well. Now, the reason for that, plain and simple. In fact, I wonder if I could even go and say, we could break this down further if I really wanted to. And I could say that, the visitor reception closes at like 6 p.m. and it's closed all night. I could do that. I don't know if we need to do that, but I could do that. Anyway, the reason I'm going for 2:30 on the security guards is because we will have some passengers that arrive to the airport and go straight to the self-check-in kiosks. So essentially, I want to make sure that my security guards are here and working when those passengers arrive, because those guys aren't going to need to go and get a ticket from a desk. They get it from here. They can go straight through security. Now, they're not going to be able to board right away. They're not going to go to a gate agent right away, but they can at least get into the departures area. So then going down to retail workers, what we're going to do is say from midnight until about 4:30, retail workers are not going to be here. So even if they get into the departures lounge, not all of it is going to be open right away, which is actually accurate. I've told the story before about how I was the first person into the departures lounge at Manchester Airport in 2000 and I want to say 15 or 16, and none of the shops were open for hours. So that's a thing. You can get in there, but there's nothing to do but sit around and look at the wall. Now, moving on to chefs, we don't have any, so we don't need to worry about that. And for janitors, I'm thinking what we do is something similar. So we'll go for here and say none of them are working from midnight until 3. I'm also going to say none of them are working from 11 until 1 and maybe from 4 until 7, just because it's, I don't know, it might save me a little bit of money. The airport's not that filthy. And if it does get filthy, we can change up their schedule. But that should save us just a little bit of money. Only a little bit, but a little bit is better than none at all. And speaking of money, we are making about 8,000-ish per day at the moment. I would like that to be higher. I would definitely like that to be higher, but I think we're going to have a little bit of work to do before the money gets up there. Now, speaking of work, that's mostly going to be around government grants. And to be completely honest, I really want to do this functional kitchen and cafe thing. But we've also got things like, well, we're unlocking the VP of Finance right now. We have a construction foreman that we can hire as well. We're going to need a COO. So we have 3 more executives to get our hands on. So here's what I'm thinking we do. I'm going to go into planning mode. I'm going to figure this out. So I reckon we bring a wall down here. We go across and we create actually not a new corridor there at all. I think what we do is we go like this and we create 3 more offices right in there. I think we go ahead and create a corridor right about there. And what I could do is this right here. We could create an easy 6 offices right there. Gives us a little bit of corridor down here. Maybe this could be a service entrance for staff or something like that. I don't really know if we need that, but it could be. I think that's what we do. I think what we do is we create, 6 more offices here. I don't know if we're ever going to need 6 more offices, but I think it'd be good. And we can just go ahead and just put in all of this to sort of mark where the floors are going to be and all that good stuff. Maybe we'll use a little bit of cyan for the doors right about there. I think that would be pretty good. I think that'll work out kind of nicely for an expansion to this part of the airport. So that'll be good for the executives that we're going to need. But I also, like I said, I want to deal with this kitchen thing. I want to deal with this cafe thing. But I also want to deal with boredom. Because, I mean, if we look here, this person is so bored. 71% boredom. That's not great. That's really not great. So I think what we do is we get our hands on some kind of arcade. So in terms of getting an arcade, it's relatively plain and simple. What we'll do is go ahead and do something like this. We'll go for another 3 right about there. We'll go up. And we'll just go ahead and slap a couple of doors. Maybe, right about there. The rest of the room can sort of be there. We'll just do this. We'll use the cyan for kind of the room layout, I guess. And that would be an arcade. I think that would be perfectly fine for an arcade. Although it would be nice if it was maybe a little more central. So how about we flip that? How about we clear that planning? And what we do is say that we want a little, I say little, well, yeah, little-ish kitchen right about there. We do a nice kind of chunky, maybe cafe thing, say here. So that can be our cafe. We maybe do a corridor right in here. And on the other side of the corridor, we go and do an arcade. I think that would be kind of interesting. I think that'd be kind of cool. So we do yellow for the wooden floor. You can do sort of like a magenta. So your entrance to the cafe could be about there. And that's your cafe. And then maybe the arcade has sort of like, I don't know, a weird thing going on with 2 doors for some reason. So the arcade kind of has that layout. And then the kitchen is going to just be this sort of thing. And I think that would work. So that'll deal with boredom. That'll let them get food and that'll feed them and water them. That'll be the kitchen that supplies them. We could even do a little staff door right about there so that cafe staff can get in nice and quickly. And I think that'll work. I think that'll be fine. I'm also thinking we could potentially do a staff door here as well, but we'll leave it for now. I think that's a decent little expansion for the airport, though. So let's, I guess, get to it. And I'm thinking this part's going to be more important than the executives right now because we want to make sure that the passengers are happy. And they're relatively happy. They're just kind of frustrated that security's taken so long. So that's going to be my next upgrade. But for now, let's just do this. So let me go ahead and get some foundation. And we'll just lay this out as we mean for it to be. We'll get some walls in there automatically. So we get all of that done. And then I guess we could do this bit as well. I guess we could. It's going to be a lot of money, but I think it's probably for the best that we just get all this sort of queued to be built as soon as possible. So all of you, and then all of you, we go and we do these offices as well. And that looks to be everything. I'm also going to want to demolish this and replace all of these windows with solid walls. And then I don't think, yeah, I can't place any windows down here right now, but that's fine. So that's all going to be built. I guess I could probably potentially do the zoning as well. So office, 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 and then the same down here. They're all going to be having some issues, but that's fine. We want to get a kitchen as well, which is going to be this guy. We want to get a cafe, which is going to be this guy. And we want an arcade, which is going to be that guy over there. So that should be fine. That's a lot of stuff to get built, but I think it's going to be pretty good for us. We're also having some issues as we need a chef. I'm not going to bother hiring a chef just yet, though, because obviously the kitchen's not quite done yet. So I don't really think we need to get a chef right now. I think we'll do without. And there we go. Construction is done. Didn't really take all that long at all. Now what we got to do is go ahead and put all of the furniture into the offices, as well as the cafe, the arcade, just everything. Everything is going to need a good chunk of furniture. So we'll get the desks in there. We'll get the chairs in here as well. We can get the flooring and stuff in a little bit later on, because looking at it, we're going to need a lot of things for the cafe. So we'll come back to that because the arcade's a little bit easier. It just needs arcade games. So what we'll do is we'll get a couple of these driver games, which are 2,400 each, and we'll put them there and there. We'll go ahead and get some pinball games, which are 3,200 each, and put them there and there. We'll get some retro games in the corners, and we'll get a couple of blaster games in the middle. And that'll just give us a little bit of space around the arcade. And we could even go so far as to get some decor in there as well. So we could put in some nice plants just in those spaces. We could do, I guess, ad displays if we wanted to. I don't know how I feel about that. Got some weird looking statue thing. We got a nice decorative tree. We've got decorative plants. I think what we'll do is we'll just put some decorative bushes there and there. And we'll just make the place a little bit nicer. So we'll get that going. It's a decent chunk of change to build that, but I'm not too worried. As for the cafe itself, we need tables, we need food coolers, warmers, drink machines, and coffee makers. We need a cash register, so we need a lot of things. So if we have a little look, the cash register, I guess, could go, I want to say here. I think here would be pretty solid. Actually, let's do the food displays first. So I think that's the front of it. So what we want, how much is this? 1,000. Let's do 2 of them. Let's do some hot food displays. We'll do a cash register. Then we'll do a coffee maker and a drinks machine, because those are operated by the customer. So that's a decent little setup there. If we search for a cafe, let's go for the wooden tables, since I think they're kind of nice, and we'll dot them sort of in those spots there. We'll get ourselves some relatively cheap looking wooden chairs as well, because why not? In fact, let's not do that one. Let me cancel that one. We'll do these guys at the top and at the bottom, top and bottom, top and bottom. And then these guys can sort of be actually, you know what? I kind of don't want to do that. I wonder, can I cancel these with a quick dismantle? I don't think it's going to let me. I think I'm going to have to, can I like shift click all of these? No, I'm going to have to click all of them and cancel all of them. I'm going to make it a little bit simpler just because I can. I'm just going to make it that little tiny bit simpler. So if I search for cafe again, we'll do this, 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 and this. And we'll just go ahead and do something like this. It's not exactly interesting, but it's good enough, I think. And then for the rest of the place, we could do this and have a little chair there and there and there and there. And I think that's fine. I think that's totally okay. We're going to want some decor in here, though. So let's have a look and see what we can do to make it look nice. We do have these other little coffee table things, but I think we'll just kind of avoid those, to be totally honest. Let's go for, I guess, a nice plant in the corner. We could do some plants down here between all of these chairs if we really wanted to, which I'm not completely against doing because I think it'll just look Well, no, that looks a little cramped down there, actually. Let's not do that. Let's cancel you and cancel you as well. We'll just do the one, I guess. Unless I can do a plant up there, which I technically can, but it might look a bit weird. So let's maybe not do that, and let's maybe cancel this set of table and chairs as well. Let's do a nice decorative plant down in the corner. And then what I want to do is go to ops, and I want to do a flight info display. Because I think that would be kind of cool. If I turn this on, that's going to be a pretty good overlay for customers in there. They can see when their flight's going to be going. So that, I think, is pretty solid. I think that works nicely. In terms of flooring for the cafe, let's go for, I guess, a nice sort of dark wood. And for the floor out here, we're going to go for this guy. And for the arcade, what about this a brown carpet, a green carpet? I want to go for the green one. I think the green carpet will be kind of interesting. And then for the kitchen, we'll just go for this kind of stone right here. And that should be fine. So that should be all that space getting sorted. The kitchen I will come back to. In fact, no, the kitchen I will not come back to. The kitchen I will deal with now. So there's some interesting things with the kitchen. In fact, if I make this a priority, I can actually click on the kitchen itself and I can show you the interesting things with the kitchen. So you guys are going down there, you're doing your thing, you're delivering the boxes, that's fine. I kind of need you to deal with the kitchen as a priority though, which they don't really seem to want to do right now. But I guess that's okay. The arcade's going to be up and running, so people are going to be a bit less bored at the very least. Okay, so the kitchen has an overview. And what we can see is that you need kitchen storage, you need prep carts, you need cookers, you need hot plates, and you can send things like avocado and toast out to either the hot food display in the cafe or a health food kiosk elsewhere in the airport, which I think is really cool. So what that says to me is that I want to go in here and I want to sort by kitchen, and we want to get ourselves things like, well, we're going to want cookers to start with. So if I search for a cooker, I can go ahead and get one of those there. I can go ahead and get like a hot plate and put it sort of, I guess, next to the cooker. We can search for kitchen. We can get kitchen storage, which honestly I think could go 1, 2, and then maybe a couple of refrigerators down at the bottom as well. We could go and put a pizza oven down there as well, which I guess is totally fine. We're gonna need a kitchen sink. So let's put the sink sort of, I guess, opposite storage is probably a decent spot for it. And then I don't know what else we're gonna need. So having a look at the overview, prep carts, that's something we need. So prep carts are these guys. We can go ahead and do 1, 2 behind the sink. We could maybe do 3, 4 over there. I don't know if we need to, but we can. In terms of cookers, maybe we do another one here. And I'm not sure what else we need in the kitchen, to be completely honest. It is a decent size. It's also kind of expensive, but it should be pretty solid once all that gets in there. And what we can do is hire a chef. We'll hire another member of retail staff. And we can go ahead and schedule those guys as well. So if we go into schedule overlay and we go to staff, we go to night. We actually kind of need to wait for all this to be built before I can do that, it turns out. So let's make sure the cafe is fully up and running. And I think it's also going to need to be assigned to a kitchen. So let's assign you to that kitchen. The cafe should now be running, which it absolutely is. So back into schedules and into retail. And at night, you are not going to be working. And for the chef, it's also going to be a similar thing. You are not going to be working. When is it? Retail doesn't work until 4:30. Okay, so the chef is also not going to work until 4:30. There we go. So the chef's actually leaving, which is totally fine. But this looks pretty good. I'm actually really pleased with this. I'm really, really happy with this. I think it looks absolutely solid. So we should have a pretty good little setup. We should have people coming in. They won't be coming in today, unfortunately, because I don't think we have 0 food stock right now. So the kitchen and the cafe are just not going to be working, which is fine. That's just how it is. But at the very least, they're built, so we should, and we have, completed that government grant, which is lovely. The next one is 5 stores, 2 first-class lounges, and environment satisfaction to 80%. I think we can hold off on that. As for airline services, we're not going to be doing the 2 large or XL gates right now. For investments, we're probably not going to be paying off any loans anytime soon, although... Oh, hold on a minute. That's short-term investment. That is minus 50,000 up front. And then pay off loans, wait 3 days, get 125 back. I don't think I want to do that. I do not think I want to do that. That does not seem like a good idea. Airport efficiency, 2 runways, meh. That's fine. Services, again, we're not doing. Passenger experience, again, not doing. Maximizing profits. Hire a finance VP, research lower tax income 1, and pay off loans. Okay, that we can do because we have the offices for that. Although I do need to finish decorating the offices a little bit. So let's get the nice carpet in there, and let's get the nice wood flooring in there, which I think is this one. I think. I'm not 100% sure if it is that one, but that's what we're going to go for. We can also go and get some windows and do a nice window here, here, and here. We can do a couple of windows there, there, and I guess there as well as here. That's a pretty decent little spot for it. So that kind of works out. Gives us a nice little bit of decoration down there, keeps the workers busy. And I guess what we do is we go to admin. We're going to want to get ourselves a finance VP, which is kind of expensive. We want to get ourselves a foreman as well. And we can get a COO at some point as well. Now, looking into all of that. So, VP of Finance, we can get lower income tax. Lower income tax right now is 4,200. So not actually as expensive as I thought it was going to be. If I'm brutally honest, that is cheaper than I thought it was going to be, but I guess that's just the way of it. Now let's have a little look here. Lower income tax is 38,500. Oy. That's a lot of money. Now we can get escalators, one-way paths, one-way taxiways, runway intersections. I think we'll just sort of skip over all of that. Credit reporting, meh. I do feel like the lower taxes is probably the way to go. I'm also kind of feeling like operations. We might as well get that last exec in here as well. And looking at it, we're making 11,495 right now. So we're making more money than we were, but I don't know that the airport is more efficient as a result of my scheduling. I get the feeling it's not, because looking at this queue at security, people are very frustrated. Now, hopefully they'll come over and go into the arcade and be a little bit less frustrated, but right now they're very frustrated. And that makes me think that security, oh man, security is going to need an upgrade. And we don't have that much money. I mean, we could apply for another loan. Outstanding. I have to repay this manually? Oh no. Oh no. Right. That's terrifying. Also interesting is that right now because my credit worthiness is bad, any loan that I take is going to have a pretty hefty interest rate. Maybe I should have gotten the credit report stuff. Maybe I should have unlocked that. Oh man. That's a little rough right there. That is a little bit rough. Do I have to assign these guys to airlines? To offer this facility to an airline, you first need to negotiate them away. During negotiations, you can earn extra income by assigning exclusivity to airlines. Right. So flight management, West. Let's look at Pacific Airlines. Negotiate. So there's no lounges. Upsell your contracts to airlines by offering facilities in exchange for higher fees. You can also request additional planes here. You must accept at least 8 flights from the airline to negotiate. Oh. Well, that's going to be a slight problem because they're not offering anything right now. That's slightly tricky. We have 6 from them right now. And yeah, none of them really want to negotiate at the minute, which it's a bit of a problem. That's definitely a bit of a problem. Looking at it, aero time, same thing, 8 flights from the airline. Same thing, 8 flights from the airline. That complicates things. That does complicate things. So can I assign you? Sales rep office to offer it to an airline. That's fine. Actually, the environment in there is not bad, which is good. That's definitely not bad. Yeah, it'd be nice to offer these out, but I just think the airlines, we don't have enough flights from them, so there's not really much I can do there. That is unfortunate. It's also unfortunate that the cafe is not going to be working today, but I guess we just have to wait until tomorrow, and it will be. Okay, we're approaching the end of the day. We've got ourselves a chief operations officer as well. Security is not all that busy, and I don't think it's going to be. I think most of the flights at this point are done. Oh, wait, no, I take that back. We do still have some people sat out here who I don't really know what they're doing. They're leaving. Oh, they were waiting for the pickups zone. Okay, we should maybe expand that a little bit and just see if we can't maybe, you know, make that a little better. I don't know if it needs to be like this, but we can do that. We could also probably expand drop-offs just a little bit to be, you know, that size. And we could probably do something with sidewalks and all of that as well. But I think for now, maybe just pickups can be just a tiny, tiny little bit bigger as well. So something like that. And we'll see if that maybe lets people not just sit in the airport. But it does seem like what we could potentially do is go to security and say that their night shift kicks in at about 11. I want to say 11 would be good for that as well, because it seems like no one's going through security at 11. And if they are, something catastrophically bad has happened. And I feel like we could get away with doing the same thing for staff as well. So let's have them all clock off at about 11. And for security, let me just double check something. Yeah, they're coming in at 2:30, so that should be fine. So they should all be leaving now, which they absolutely are. They're going to pick up, so they'll get in a bus and they'll leave. And that's not bad. That's honestly not bad. I feel like we could probably get away with similar for the other members of staff as well. So retail workers can probably leave at about 10:30, I want to say, for the retail workers. Same with maybe the chef could leave at about 10:30 as well. So they're just going to be gone and out of here. And that should save me a little bit of money as well, which is fantastic. Although looking at things, I mean, yeah, we just spent a good chunk of change on, oh my God, hold on a minute. Hold. Daily interest is that. Am I spending, hold on a minute. Am I spending, oh boy. I'm not spending that much on per day on bank loans, right? Is that a thing? So revenue, yeah, it's fine. Cash, resources, etc., etc. Okay. I am slightly concerned. Why can I not sell my airport? Oh, it's very Prison Architect-ish. You can build an airport, sell it, and then build a new one. That's kind of cool. Okay. I'm slightly worried that I'm getting minus like 34,000 or something every day because, oh no, that could be a problem if I'm getting minus 34,000 every day because of that loan. Regardless, the good news is this place now has supplies, so should now be able to make everything, which means that the cafe should now be working, which means we should end up getting a little bit more money today. Now, the estimate is 4,455. That's honestly nowhere near good enough, so I'm going to be a little bit cheeky. And I'm going to take the expenses of the runway up to 1,000, and I'm going to say 35 per terminal usage. And the airlines are not going to be happy about that, but my new total is about 44,000 per day with that in mind. So I feel like that's kind of my only option to make some money here. And we should have staff getting in here now. So yes, security has arrived. Not all of it arrived though, which is a bit of a worry, but I think the rest of it's here. No, it isn't. Oh boy. Interesting. So what that says to me is that we might want to go ahead and, yeah, they can't get through security right now because the buses are full of passengers. Right. So that tells me we need to change the overlay a little bit, the schedule, and have security getting in here at about 2. because the buses are full, meaning we can't get all of the security staff through here. Now this is open, I can kind of see why it tails back a little bit. We have like 3 or 4, maybe 5 flights worth of people trying to get through the tiny little security checkpoint. I guess the good news is the cafe it's working at the very least. So that'll keep people happy. The arcade should keep people happy. They got vending machines as well. They got coffee up here. So that should be all right. We're also, you know, the airlines are paying ridiculous amounts of money to use the runways and the terminal. So we've got that going for us as well. We have a good number of people waiting out here. So all in all, I think we're on the right track with the airport. I just think it needs to be a little more efficient, perhaps, would be one word. And I'm also thinking that I might want to look into upgrading the buses. I feel like double-decker buses for double the capacity could be really good for us, especially in those early mornings as the airport continues to expand. Credit reporting also probably kind of useful. And for income tax, what are we doing? We're doing 21,900. Okay, yeah, we're going to lower the income tax. That's 100% lowering the income tax so I can make more money. That needs to happen. All right, let's... Whoever's chief finance VP, if you wouldn't mind, yeah, please do get that done.